Welcome to January 2026, folks. If you thought the last few years were a roller coaster, buckle up, because the Middle East is about to turn into a centrifuge of chaos. We are looking at a situation so volatile that even the doomsday clock just gave up, packed its bags, and moved to Mars. The location? The Persian Gulf. The players? The United States of America and the Islamic Republic of Iran. A classic rivalry, really, like Tom and Jerry, if Tom had nuclear ambitions and Jerry controlled the world's reserve currency. While the rest of the world is still trying to figure out what happened in 2025, a perfect storm is brewing. And no, that's not just a fancy weather metaphor. We are talking about literal storm clouds over Tehran, figuratively speaking, mixed with the very real exhaust fumes of American tanker aircraft taking off from Qatar. The vibe is tense. The stakes? Existential. It's the heavyweight title match nobody asked for, but everyone has to watch because, well, oil prices. Let's set the stage. Tehran has slammed its airspace shut. Not flight delayed shut, but fly here and you go boom shut. Countries are evacuating their citizens faster than rats fleeing a sinking ship. And over in Washington, D.C., the man with the golden hair is back in the Oval Office, and he has decided to unleash an economic weapon so potent it makes Thanos' snap look like a mild inconvenience. He's threatening to strangle the global trade routes to squeeze Iran until it pops. Why now? Why 2026? Is this just political theater, or are we actually staring into the abyss? Today, we are going deep, deeper than the underground bunkers in Isfahan, to analyze the insanity of the Iran-US standoff of 2026. Welcome to the show. To understand why the house is on fire, we first have to look at the wiring inside the house. And folks, the wiring in Iran is frayed, sparking, and currently being chewed on by the rats of inflation. It is January 2026, and the Islamic Republic is facing an internal meltdown that makes a dumpster fire look organized. The economy hasn't just slowed down, it has decided to go base jumping without a parachute. After years of sanctions, the Iranian rial is trading at a rate that requires a microscope to see its value. We are talking about wheelbarrow of cash for a loaf of bread levels of bad. The cost of living has skyrocketed so high it's currently orbiting the moon. For the average Iranian citizen, buying chicken is now a luxury investment, like buying a yacht or a small island. This economic freefall started a chain reaction. Back in December 2025, people started protesting about food prices. Standard stuff, right? But by mid-January 2026, these weren't just food riots. This turned into a nationwide roar. We are talking about protests in over 30 provinces. The slogans changed from "We are hungry" to "We want a new management team entirely." It is a full-blown crisis of legitimacy. And how did the government respond to this heartfelt plea for change? Did they offer subsidies? Did they hold a town hall? No. They sent in the guys with the batons and the bad attitudes. The Revolutionary Guard, or IRGC, isn't known for its customer service skills. They locked down the cities and, in a classic move, pulled the plug on the internet. A digital blackout. A total information void. They built a firewall so thick that not even a cat meme could get through. Reports leaking out, mostly via carrier pigeon and very brave smugglers, suggest thousands have been arrested. Tehran's narrative is simple. This is all a plot by the Great Satan and the Little Satan. That's US and Israel, for those not fluent in revolutionary rhetoric. They claim foreign agents are staging a riot. But looking at the footage, it looks a lot less like a Hollywood production and a lot more like sheer desperation. The internal chaos is the blood in the water, and the sharks are beginning to circle. This internal weakness is exactly what invited the external pressure. It's hard to fight a superpower when your own backyard is on fire. Meanwhile, across the ocean and the land of the free and the home of the Big Mac, the administration has smelled blood. The president, back for another round of history-making chaos, isn't sending thoughts and prayers. He's sending ultimatums. On January 12, 2026, he dropped a bombshell that rattled stock markets from Tokyo to London. He didn't fire a missile, he fired a tariff. A big, beautiful $25 tariff. The message was simple. If you do business with Iran, you pay Uncle Sam a $25 fee on everything you sell to us. It's protectionism weaponized. It's the economic equivalent of saying, nice economy you have there. Shame if someone put a tax wall around it.
This is a nightmare for countries like India and China. They love Iranian oil because it's cheap. But do they love the US consumer market more? That is the billion-dollar question. India is already sweating, having dealt with previous tariffs. Now they have to choose cheap oil or the ability to sell software and textiles to America without going bankrupt. It's a geopolitical hostage situation, and the ransom is economic loyalty. But wait, there is more. The analysts are whispering about the Venezuela model. Remember when the US just sort of snatched people in Caracas? Well, the rumor mill says Washington is considering a similar decapitation strategy for Tehran.
There are signs. The US military is quietly moving non-essential staff out of Qatar. Why? Because Iran said, if you attack us, we burn everything. So moving the interns out of the blast zone seems like a prudent HR decision. Carrier strike groups are parking themselves in the Arabian Sea, menacingly floating there with giant metal islands of doom. This isn't just a show of force, it's a rehearsal. The president is tweeting up a storm, telling the Iranian protesters, we see you, we love you, help is coming. It's psychological warfare 101. He's telling the mullahs, your people hate you, and I have a really big stick. Time is up. It's a squeeze play designed to force a collapse or a capitulation. But here's the thing about corners. When you back a tiger into one, it doesn't usually surrender. It swipes. So, how is Tehran taking this? Are they waving the white flag? Absolutely not. They are digging in. The leadership in Tehran has spines made of pure defiance and stubbornness. The supreme leader, looking stern as ever, came out and drew some red lines. And these aren't the kind of red lines you can just step over. He basically said, you want to fight? We will give you a war that you will write history books about. Iran's strategy is what experts call the porcupine defense. If you try to eat the porcupine, you are going to choke on 1,000 quills. They have sent very polite, very terrifying letters to their neighbors, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Jordan. The message reads, Dear neighbors, if you let the Americans launch planes from your bases to attack us, we will assume you are part of the attack, and we will turn your oil fields into bonfires. Best regards, Tehran. It's a brilliant move. It splits the US alliance. Suddenly, the Gulf states aren't so keen on hosting the party if they're going to be left with the cleanup bill. They are shaking in their designer boots. And then there is the nuclear elephant in the room, the ultimate wildcard. For years, we have played the will they, won't they game with Iran's nuclear program. Now, with the regime's survival on the line, the gloves might come off. If they feel like Gaddafi or Saddam, leaders who gave up their programs and ended up in very bad situations, they might decide that the only insurance policy that actually pays out is a nuclear warhead. It is the ultimate bluff, or the ultimate threat. Attack us, and we open Pandora's box. Now, let's zoom out. The rest of the world is watching this like a slow-motion car crash. The UN Security Council held an emergency meeting on January 16th, and it went exactly as you'd expect. The US yelled, Russia yelled back, China took furious notes, and France suggested a baguette break. The paralysis is real. Russia and China are technically on Iran's side, but mostly because they hate US hegemony. China needs the oil, and Russia needs the chaos to distract from its own adventures. But neither of them wants to start World War III over Tehran. They are offering moral support and maybe some discount radar parts, but they aren't sending troops. Europe is the most nervous. They are stuck in the middle. They hate the human rights abuses in Iran, but they really, really hate the idea of $200 oil and a new refugee crisis. If war breaks out, millions will flee, and they aren't swimming to Florida. They are walking to Berlin. Europe is frantically trying to mediate, making phone calls that nobody is answering. And the markets? Oh, the markets are hyperventilating.
If the Strait of Hormuz closes, that's the tiny neck of water where 20% of the world's oil passes through. The global economy has a heart attack. Oil prices hitting $200 a barrel would trigger a recession that would make 2008 look like a picnic.
So, how does this movie end? We are at the climax, folks. There are really only two ways this script plays out. Scenario A, the de-escalation. The pressure becomes too much. A secret back-channel deal is cut in a hotel room in Oman. Iran agrees to freeze the nuclear program in exchange for cash and survival. Everyone declares victory and goes home. Scenario B, the miscalculation. Someone shoots down the wrong plane, or a cyber attack goes too far, and the missiles start flying. We get the shock and awe sequel nobody wanted.
Whatever happens, the sad reality is that the average person on the streets of Tehran or the soldier on the ship in the Gulf pays the price. The politicians play chess, and the people are the pawns. It's a high-stakes game of chicken between nuclear powers, and the brake lines have been cut. We are watching history unfold, live and in high definition. Will 2026 be the year the Middle East reshapes the world order, or just another year of brinkmanship? Only time, and perhaps the next tweet, will tell. Thanks for watching this breakdown of the impending apocalypse. Smash that like button if you want to survive the year, and subscribe for more cheerful updates on geopolitical doom.